Okay, I think we got audio now. There we go. Thank you, Jonah. We've got it fixed. Thanks to Justin Finger. So 3-1 victory here tonight for the Houston Dynamo. 40th minute, Bossy. Penalty in the second half, saved by Tarbell, stuffed in by Mihailovic, made it 1-1. You go another 21 minutes, you get a goal off the bench from Latif Blessing, who I think really helped change the game off the bench here tonight. A nice volley after Zach Steffen punched away. And then you got a third goal. It's the first 3-goal game of the year. Sebastian Kowalczyk picks up his second of the year. He gets it in the 80th minute. Great transitional goal from the Dynamo in that case. So it's a big win. Dynamo go now to 6-3. They sit on 21 points. Let's get your thoughts here tonight. We did say, Greg, in the beginning of the game, we asked for goals. We got goals. We also mentioned that Colorado was coming into this conceding 8 goals in 2 games. That's a lot of goals. It's now 11 goals in 3 games. Honestly, a bit of a strangely unemotional Zach Steffen in goal. Kind of weird. If I'd been pummeled for 11 goals in 3 games, I might look a little bit differently, I think. But who's me to say? I thought it was strange. Man of the match, I think Latif Blessing off the bench played very well, changing the energy and the tempo of the game. Not only the goal, certainly the goal helped, because goals are game changers. But I think his energy was very good off the bench. And I think during the broadcast when I was calling the game on the local call, I said, tonight the benches for either of these teams can win the game. And I think the Dynamo bench did just that. I think they outplayed the Colorado bench. I think Andrew Tarbell deserves some credit. He's obviously not going to play with his feet as much like Steve Clark. He's going to launch things long, which isn't necessarily a great thing when you're launching long balls to Amin Bassi and Sebastian Kowalczyk. But he doesn't want to take as many chances. I thought he made some very key saves in the first half. Very, very good. Easy, Jorge. It's one game. Who said we needed goal scorer? This is typical. You get a 3-goal game, and everybody's going to say now, oh, we don't need a striker. I don't think there's too many in your camp, Jorge. But it was a great night. It was a needed game for the Dynamo. It's a second win in 7. They needed this. It's a good boost of confidence. And, I'm not sure if that was a joke, Jorge, or not. But I don't think we want to put aside the fact that the team still needs a number 9, whether that's Sebastian Ferreira or buying somebody. I still think you have to buy somebody regardless of Ferreira, because Ferreira right now is defined by injury. I don't think there's any question.
You need an insurance policy.
Or you need somebody who raises the bar. I mean, I don't know if it's just an insurance policy. Reminder, tomorrow Soccer Matters on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5, 6 o'clock Central Time. We'll go in depth on this game as well. I have been upset, Jonas says, with Tarbell since the U.S. Open Cup. With Detroit tonight, he pulled through with great saves and positioning. Yeah, I think you would have been upset with a lot of people against Detroit FC. I think you should write him a personal letter. You're no longer upset with Tarbell. I think send him some flowers. I think everything will be okay. Greg, more likely to be the answer at striker this season is your new opinion. New U22 signing or Sebas? It's a toss-up, Greg. I mean, we got to see who the signing is, and maybe it isn't going to be a U22 signing. I don't know. The Sebas injury thing, though, is a concern. Oscar's out there for free, and so is Vela. Yeah, I've heard that there's been overtures for Carlos Vela by Hector Herrera, and kind of off the record, Vela really didn't want to come to Houston because of the weather, I think.
Not everything could be
Memphis Depay. Yeah, I'm not sure he's ready, Jorge, to come to the United States, but you never know, right? You never know. I mean, he's not going to come cheap. That's for sure. Man of the match. Give us your man of the match, guys. I think Daniel Steres, again, the difficult job of playing left back as a center back and being right-footed. I think he had a good 45 minutes. We got to see Franco Escobar get his legs out there. I think that's progress. You got a backup goalkeeper who's doing very, very well for you. So I think there's some really good signs. But, again, I think it's really going to come down to getting some signings that will help to boost this team. This is, again, only the 4th multi-goal game of the year. It's the first time they've had a 3-goal game since last October. You've heard Eric Sviatchenko come out say, we've got to play with a cushion. So, interesting stuff. Rafael Pina says it's Tarbell, who is the player. Technicolor joins in. First goal, love the overload, creating a situation where Aliou and Bassi creating a two-striker look for Dorsey to pass in an excellent cross. Well, I think just simply getting people in the box has been a problem. I mean, I think there was some end product we saw tonight in transition and some of these plays. Dorsey's ball was a delicious ball. It's a striker's type of ball, and it was nice to see Bassi sneak between two defenders. We need a forward or a player who likes to shoot. I think that's pretty well known. Corey says, yep, no question. That doesn't change by the game, even if you scored 5 tonight. Ibrahim with cool, calm passing instead of forcing them. Thought the Dynamo managed the game out pretty well here tonight. That was a good sign. I liked seeing Aliou bounce back after missing an empty net on the road against the LA Galaxy. That's a good sign. And then you think of a guy like him. If you get a definitive striker who's, one of class, one of attitude, who's an ultimate finisher, you're going to take pressure off guys like Aliou, these younger guys. Mike P. says, holy crap, we needed a game like this. I second that emotion. What a change of pace when Latif hit the field. So, I agree with that, Emilio. Hold on one second.
You're good.
I agree with that, Emilio. I think he was the game changer when it came to tempo and energy. And, he added the goal to it. I think that's a big thing. We had the same amount of wins, ties, losses all time against Colorado until today. We have the similar record as of last year, right? And then it took off after the Leafs Cup. Justin.
Real quick about Latif. He's always, to me, seemed like he's been a solid player throughout MLS. Why do you think he's bounced around and not really stayed long-term with the team?
I think there's certain players that, with the salary cap the way it is, maybe get offloaded. I mean, I think his longest and most effective time period was LAFC. I don't think any question. I mean, it was a big part of that team, but they had a great supporting cast there as well. But I think he's been a good pickup. I think the energy. He's got 2 goals in 2 games now. Let's see if that keeps going. But to bring a guy that has that energy, that turn of pace off the bench in a second half on a humid night like this was a nice thing. And again, I said it on the broadcast. For me, I think the Dynamo bench outplays and helps you win the game tonight. Chris says, okay, it's the same thing. What else you got? Who's your man of the match?
I'd have to say Tarbell. I can't really discredit him for the PK. I think the saves he made were massive tonight, especially for to look the way he did tonight after not getting many starts over the last 2 years. Was
yeah.
Big.
I mean, he was our Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup goalkeeper throughout the whole thing. Don't forget his grind on defense. I think Jorge is mentioning Latif Blessing doing the defensive work as well. Look, if both teams, you could tell because of the heat and humidity. Both have upcoming games. Both are on artificial surface. Both got key players. Half a match type stuff. What about your thoughts on Hector Herrera? Obviously, and I'm putting this out to everybody who's listening in. Obviously, he's still working himself into shape. He's got to be close now. He still is just, he's intelligentsia, when it comes to orchestrating and making good decisions. So I think it's only upward for him. But he's looked gassed in the last 2 games. But you know what? So are a lot of other people, and it's his brain that gets you through games too. Emilio says, I would love to see Latif on the right, Aliou Smith on the left for the last 30. That would be interesting with a healthy Sebas to bother the middle, or maybe to lock down the middle. Well, I think you said the key word there, healthy. I mean, he's played such little time here, and I mean, you're getting towards the halfway point of the season almost. That's a concern, I mean, you don't want your season, you don't want to be defined by injury. That's the thing. Hector not there yet. Touches and passes improving. Yeah, it's like you're just driving him through it.
Yeah.
You're just driving him through it, and it's also key what's around him. But he's basically got a free roll to go do whatever he wants to do, and that's what you want from him. Rain's getting some minute. That's good. Yeah, I think he had a couple of rough games where he made mistakes in every game, and the Dynamo played him deep. I thought maybe you play him a little higher so that if you make some mistake, it maybe doesn't cost you a game in points. But I thought he came on tonight, useful with the ball, smart, calm, composed. Good game to bring him in. And I think tonight he did look very well, Jorge. I think he's a good talent. But the Dynamo are ultimately going to have to figure out how to start, blooding and giving opportunity to young players, because the rest of the league gets more out of young players. I mean, Colorado had 3 or 4 academy players on the field at the end of the game. And that's an area where, the Dynamo historically has been deficient. And that's an area you really have to improve if you want to compete in this league.
You want me to run through the stats?
I once said cheap labor. I don't think Pat Onstad liked me using cheap labor, but honestly, it is against the cap. And I don't mean that derogatorily. It's just the way it is. I mean, if you can get young guys for a couple of years and get a lot out of them, boost their value, win some things with them, and then sell them on, you're doing it. Mike P., thank you very much. This is what keeps me going these days. When Mike P. says something like that, honestly, this is what keeps me going, and I appreciate that. And I hope you guys are tuning in and not afraid to call the radio show this week. It'll be tomorrow, 6 Central, and Friday, 6 Central. Drive home. And by the way, I got Copa America tickets and everything else, so be ready. Cameron says, I agree, we need to start looking into some Dynamo 2 players. Yeah, I mean, look, I can understand last year the priority is to be winners again and get in the playoffs, and you turn a lot of people over. But that's a big, big part of, I think, the problems that we have not produced talent out of the academy and the second team is something you really got to look. You got to do a deep, deep dive on that. I'm not going to complain about anything today. Okay, Jose, no problem. That's good. It's a very positive win. Just maybe wanted to see Sebas with 3-1 up. Well, I know. He was on the bench. He didn't get in. I was hoping to see him too. What equipment you have, for some reason, it is much lower amplitude of the sound rather than, say, Soccer Matter show. Well, we're doing this off computers at the stadium. When Soccer Matters is on, we're in the radio station in a full studio. So maybe I can speak up a little bit. Maybe that'll help. But we always appreciate the feedback, especially when there is no audio. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. We appreciate that. We're here to have fun, too.
Rookie mistake.
Soccer's a fun game. We've got an incredible summer of teams and players coming through Houston. You got Copa America. You got Brazil up in College Station against Mexico. Inter Miami and Tigres. Amazing stuff. Saturday, we got, we're all pulling for Columbus against Pachuca at altitude. I wouldn't be surprised if they knock them off. It'll be a real challenge. And somebody asked me why Pachuca gets the game. It's because they had the better overall record or something. There was something that gave them the home field advantage. What else you got, guys, before we go? Anything else?
The stats really quick.
Go ahead. You fire them up.
All right. Tonight, final shots, Houston 12, Colorado 16. On target, 6 for Houston, 10 for Colorado. Final third entries, 50 for Houston, 46 for Colorado. Possession, Dynamo took the possession battle 57-43. Herrera with the most touches on the team with 102. He by far outpaces everybody when it comes to touches.
Well, the Dynamo know they have to play through him, and the more decisions you can get from Hector Herrera, that's what you want. I felt strangely, supposedly the playmaker for Colorado is Georgi Mihailovic, who showed some flashes tonight, but it's kind of weird. They don't seem to really play through him as much as I would think. He pulls out wide a lot.
He only had 47 touches tonight.
Yeah, watching the Colorado players train for altitude is amazing. I can't imagine Dynamo preparing in such a professional way. Oh, geez, that goal on target conversion for Colorado. Listen, they had chances. I mean, you can't say they didn't walk away with chances, but, man, that's a lot of goals they're conceding.
What'd you say it was? 8?
11 in 3 games. It was 8 coming into this.
Yeah.
But that that was a bit of a tip-off to me because I watched some of the ways that they were conceding goals coming in, and I said to myself, if there was ever a night you're going to break out and score some goals, it's going to be tonight against Colorado, and that's exactly what the Dynamo did. So that's good. Is that correct? Hector didn't have a shot?
He did not.
Okay.
He did not tonight.
I
got scores, too, if you
Only had 3 touches in the box. Yeah, so let's take a look at what did Portland do tonight, right? Because they were in Austin.
Portland beat Austin 2-0 in Austin.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're coming in on a high, going back home.
Goals are from Ferreira and Rodriguez.
Okay, we can quiet down the Austin fan base for a while. Take that. Way to go, Timbers. They're the real Verde in MLS, Portland Timbers.
I'll run through these real quick. Montreal winning at home 4-2 over DC United. Nashville snapping Cincinnati's winning streak 2-0.
They were going for eight in a row. They were going for 8 in a row.
Inter Miami losing at home to Atlanta 3-1. Messi, of course, with a goal. Let's see. We got New York Red Bulls.
Inter Miami lost at home to Atlanta. Boy, that's a huge win for Atlanta because they've been calling for the head of the coach. And wow. And that was at Inter Miami.
It was in Miami.
Wow. So there's some urgency and pressure that maybe was molded into a bit of a diamond tonight for Atlanta.
Yeah. New York Red Bulls 3-1 over Charlotte. Philly and Toronto 0-0. Chicago, Orlando played a 1-1 draw. Sporting Kansas City losers at home 2-1 to Vancouver. Currently in the 21st minute, LA Galaxy's beating FC Dallas 1-0. Seattle, Salt Lake 0-0. And they're in the 20th minute, and then LAFC is 0-0 with Minnesota.
Yeah, that's 12 games tonight, including the Dynamo in Major League Soccer. So, all right, so I'm going to remind you, please click on the subscribe button. Technicolor said he saw the Evander goal. That is amazing. You know, when he wants to play, he can do some amazing things. I'll never forget the night I was here and in this booth, and Portland came in, and the guy walked around in front of me back and forth in a 10-yard space. It was incredible.
That was the last multi-goal game.
Yeah, Zach Steffen does. I agree. I think he could have done better on some of these goals here tonight. Honestly, I really agree with that. It's good from Greg and also very unemotional. Like it's just like I'm a punching bag. I mean, I didn't see him shouting at defenders, anything. I didn't see any real pulse from him. And, you know, I don't know. He didn't seem to react very well to things. So I don't know if he's where he's at. But, you know, he's probably at sleep at night and seeing balls, blurry orbs flying by him all over the place, you know, while we're looking at sheep jumping over a fence and sleeping nicely. All right. Yeah, like and subscribe. Let's keep we weren't honestly sure, you know, if we wanted to keep doing this. I will keep doing it as long as you guys push me to.
Yeah.
Jose saw me. Yeah, you picked me throwing a little shade on Broccoli TV, right? That's good. That's good. You got to have fun, right? I mean, what's the problem? So, again, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Central, we're going to talk about Hansi Flick going to Barcelona now as a head coach. I got a lot of other good things for that tomorrow night. There'll be tickets. Friday's the same thing. We'll do a big preview of the Dortmund Real Madrid Champions League final on the weekend. So
don't forget the Columbus Pachuca match. I'm actually really excited about that.
Jonah likes the YouTube better. Well, because maybe it's a little bit lighter, right? And I'm getting a lot of feedback. Well, if you guys called into the show, I'd lighten up a lot there too. It was sad there wasn't a post game.
Yeah, we did a post game.
We do all the home games,
yeah.
But we don't do the road games because I don't do the road games anymore. The Dynamo elected not to do road games. So we're glad you like it. We'll keep doing it.
As a reminder, our next pre and post game will be June 19th when the Dynamo take on Seattle. It's a Wednesday night.
All right, guys. Great job by all of you. You're part of the show, really, and you make the show. So I hope you're tuning in tomorrow night at 6 Central. It's drive home, so if you're on your way home from work, we appreciate it. Chris, I'm not going to change. You know, being opinionated has got me in a little bit of trouble, but the first and foremost thing I always said to myself was you must be honest with your audience. Whether you're right or wrong, you must come from a place of honesty and integrity when talking about the game. That's not going to change, trust me. And then one day I'll fade away, but that's about it. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to sign out. Big thanks to my buddy here, Justin Finger, for getting us up and running. And until the next game, I look forward. And again, join us on Soccer Matters tomorrow night on ESPN Radio, 6 Central. A lot of tickets to give away and some really good ones, too, by the way. All right. Have a nice night, guys and gals, if they're out there.